Come on, girl. Is the ignition switch in your 986 Porsche Boxster or 996 Porsche 911 starting to give you problems, whether it's hard starting, accessory key not working? If that's happening to your car, it's more than likely the switch on the back of the lock cylinder. In this video, I'm going to take you through how to replace that switch, what part not to buy, and why you should do this sooner rather than later so that you can spend $125 on the repair as opposed to $400. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to my latest Grime Time video, where I do dump things in my garage so you don't. My name is Rudy Samsel, and I am the co-founder of GuysWithRides, the only dealer-free community and marketplace for classic and collector car enthusiasts. If you're new to the channel, I've owned my 1998 Porsche Boxster, the 986 or first generation, for just over 10 years. In the fall of 2024, I started noticing that intermittently, when I go to turn the key, nothing would happen. I pull a key out, push it back in, and usually on the second or third try, the car would start. This spring, it started becoming more and more of a problem. Never stranded me, so I wanted to be proactive about fixing it. And if you're like me, wasn't crazy about the idea of having to crawl behind the dashboard. However, you're going to see that if you follow these steps, you really don't even have to crawl underneath. You can do everything, albeit a little contortioning, but you can get it done while looking through the vent after you remove it. So let's get right into it. The first step with any electrical project is to remove the negative cable on the battery. Use a 10mm socket or wrench, and then I like to put a microfiber towel between that and the cable. Then when you open the door, there are two Torx 20 screws on the side of the vent on the driver's side. You want to take these, you see me taking out these two T20 Torx screws. Next up is the light switch. And it's a little tricky. You need to pull, with your one hand, you need to pull out and hold the switch while you take a tiny screwdriver to release the clip. And if you do it right, I make it look like a pro here, but that's basically how it comes apart. Next up is the retaining nut for the back of the light switch. Now you'll notice just above that and to the right is the ignition key switch. When I first started working on this, I thought I would need to remove the lock cylinder, but that is not the case if you get the correct switch. So the rubber trim piece that normally goes around the ignition switch is removed here, but there was no reason to do that. So to get this nut off, I'm using a 1 1/8 or 29mm socket, and you should be able to just hand undo it. When you go to install it, you want to just hand tighten it because it is holding plastic in. You want to be very delicate. Now, once you have that off, you see there is hard to see, but there is another T20 Torx that holds the base of the vent and light switch. You want to be very careful because those are your diodes and resistors for the lights when illuminated at night. So here I am removing that T20 Torx screw. Now that I have that out, I use the plastic trim tool, and up there it pops the vent. I didn't get a shot of it, but there. So the vent, once you have the vent pop, the trim clips that is, then you can remove the vent. The last screw you need to remove, and it's another T20 Torx, is for that vent. You want to remove that, which I did already in this shot. And then you see me, I'm still outside the car, but I'm wiggling the vent from underneath. It connects to a piece that goes to the console by the heater core. But you can see I'm just kind of wiggling it, and eventually I get it to come down. That gives you enough clearance to see behind here. And now that purple edge thing is the electrical disconnection, and I'm carefully And I'm carefully pulling it, and it's disconnected. So now with that disconnected, I have a tiny screwdriver here, and these are 2 flat-bladed set screws. You only need to, don't remove them. You're going to cause yourself more pain, but you just need to loosen them enough that the switch will come out. You may find that there's some Loctite on these from the factory. I didn't show that here, but mine did have that on there. You had to scrape that off first. But there's a good shot of both of them. That whole piece there is the lock cylinder. If you cannot get this part, you're going to have to buy the redesigned one. There I am pulling out. Note the orientation of the keyway on the back of the switch. All right, so it fell out of my hand. Full disclosure, I actually ended up doing this job twice. And here's why. When I went to order the parts, I thought what you had were 2 options, because when I went to my local Porsche dealership and he gave me the bill of material, parts manager there told me the original part is no longer available. And so the only option the Porsche dealer has is the redesigned lock assembly with a different style and what is supposed to be a more robust part that will not have this long term. Well, car's already 26 years old, and by the time this switch needs to be replaced, I'll be dead. I first reached out to FCP Euro, and if you go on their website, they say as long as you have the original lock cylinder, this part will fit in it. If you don't, they only offer, it's a non-OEM part, colored black, and they claim that if you have the original, that was supposed to fit the original lock cylinder. All right, I go ahead and order it, and comes in. I take the whole car apart like you just saw, go to put it in, and it doesn't fit. So now it's either now I'm looking down the barrel of buying the $400 lock cylinder and using that part, or trying to find the OEM part. So when you look at the PET drawing, you get the correct part number. I went over to Pelican Parts, and lo and behold, they had 8 left in stock of the correct part. I jumped at it and ordered it. So I had to put the car back together and wait another week for the Pelican part to come in. But lo and behold, that was the correct part. And in true Porsche fashion, when you order the correct part with that part number, 99.9% probability it's going to fit perfectly. And in this case, it did. And a quick comparison of the Pelican part against my factory part, dead nut bolts accurate. So now it was a question of putting in the new part. And here I am putting it in, but you see I'm having trouble. Now, why would that be? Well, yeah, it just wouldn't fit. And then I realized, if you saw in the earlier video, the keyway was a different orientation from the factory. So it was just a matter of turning that 90 degrees on the new part. And once I did that with a small screwdriver, very gently, then it fit in to the lock cylinder. But here I am now. What you want to do is hold the part in place while you get at least one of the set screws to hold it. That way you know it's a good solid connection and it's all the way in. And again, you don't have to over tighten these. Some might want to put some thread lock on it, but I didn't see the need, at least at this point. And here I am. Now it's a little tricky. You have to remember what the orientation is. To Porsche's credit, there's 3 pins, if you noticed, on the back of that to help orient how the plug goes in. And once you remember how to do that, it should lock into place. And here is a close-up of me doing just that. Take your time. Don't bend blades. I know eventually you'll get it. And there it is. I knew it was in there. I just wanted to make sure again, double check it. All right, before I put everything back together, I reconnected the battery and tested it. And sure enough, I got a new switch. So if you're able to get that part, then you can see it's a pretty quick job. That now, if you cannot get that part and you have to replace the whole lock cylinder, that would have to be the topic for, you'll have to do some more research on that. Luckily, I avoided that and can move on to. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. And if you did, please press the like button. And if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it helps spread the word about Guys with Rides. Because in addition to this YouTube channel, I have a website. It's the only dealer-free marketplace and community for classic car enthusiasts like you and me. So, appreciate you watching. Get out there and drive, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching this video. Please press the like and subscribe button, comment below, and be sure to check out our other videos on this subject, as well as all the great content on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you can call me at the number listed below, or be sure to check out our main website, GuysWithRides.com.